The Mai Tai is one of the most wrongly made cocktails in the history of cocktail making. And in this video, I'm gonna be making you 10 different Mai Tais and Mai Tai variations to show you just how fun it can be when you start playing with the Mai Tai. But all right, let's get right into it. Let's learn how to make a real classic Mai Tai. So the Mai Tai is an infamous and also probably the most bastardized cocktail in the history of cocktail making. There are so many places that have tried to adapt this cocktail and they end up making some pretty bad versions of it. So the first one we're gonna make is a classic Mai Tai. The main ingredient in a Mai Tai really came from a Jamaican rum. And so we're gonna use a really nice Jamaican rum, not the nicest, the most expensive, but I really like this one. It's the Appleton Estate Reserve. It's their 8-year. And usually you should do the spirit last, but I think it's so important to the Mai Tai that we should do this first. We're gonna do 2 ounces of this great, funky, rich Jamaican rum. We're gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of freshly squeezed lime juice. And then we're gonna do 1 ounce of pineapple juice. Haha, I'm just kidding. Don't put pineapple juice in your Mai Tai. In the traditional Mai Tai, there's no pineapple, okay? Just making a PSA here. Set that aside. We're gonna do 1/2 ounce of Pierre Ferrand's dry curacao, which is a orange liqueur. It's cognac based. English is hard, guys. And then we're gonna do 1/4 of an ounce of orgeat, which this is my house-made orgeat, which you can find the recipe for on my channel right there. Martin Kate calls for a rich simple syrup. We're just gonna do 1/4 of an ounce of demerara, which demerara is just like sugar in the raw, and then we're just gonna make a little syrup out of it. We do our demerara 2-to-1, so it is actually a richer simple syrup. And then because we're gonna serve this cocktail over pebbled ice, only add a couple of cubes here just to kind of agitate everything in there and kind of start mixing it together. But we don't want to over dilute it because the pebble ice will melt quicker and that will over dilute the cocktail. And we're gonna lock that up and shake it up. Keep shaking until you stop hearing the pebbles click in there. And then we're just gonna pour that right into our glass there, and we're gonna fill it up with pebbled ice. A nice garnish for a Mai Tai. I should have done this before if we were to fresh squeeze our lime. We do our lime ahead of time because we're a bar. But for you guys at home, probably should have done this. So when you squeeze out a lime with the lime juice, you end up creating this little like husk of a shell for a lime. So you could do that as a garnish right there, and then some mint to kind of freshen it up. Don't forget to spank your mint. And then let's garnish it right there. And there we have a pretty classic traditional Mai Tai. Very tasty. That rum really is and needs to be the star of the show. Those funky, aged, dark flavors. The orgeat gives a nice sweetness along with the demerara syrup. The orange curacao gives it that nice, sharp kind of citrusy element along with the lime juice. It's really tasty. And did you notice how there was no pineapple or orange juice in there? That's important. But all right, let's move on to the next Mai Tai variation that we're gonna make. This one's a nice variation on the classic Mai Tai. Let's make Shannon Mustifer's Mai Tai. This next one comes from another absolute tiki legend, and that is Shannon Mustifer, and it comes from her book, Tiki. Such an incredible book, and Shannon has really been pushing the bounds of what tiki can be. And in her Mai Tai variation, what I love is that she introduces a really incredible rum into this. And a lot of folks, when they make their Mai Tais, they like to use a rum agricole, which is a rum made from fresh sugar cane juice, kind of like a cachaça. But what she does instead is uses Paranubes, which is a Mexican rum that I'm obsessed with. And it's a little bit higher in proof. It's about 54% ABV. And she mixes it with one of my favorite easy rums, and that is Hamilton 86, which is a rum from Guyana. Truthfully, this is my well rum. I use this for a bunch of different cocktails. It's not gonna break the bank, but very rich in flavor. So we're gonna do 2 ounces of the Hamilton 86. We're then gonna do 1/2 ounce of the Paranubes, which is gonna probably give it a nice and funky flavor. And we're gonna do 1/2 ounce of our orgeat. 1/2 ounce of our lime juice that we made a second ago, 1/2 ounce of our dry curacao, and again, just a couple of pebbles of ice. Fill with pebbled ice. And instead of doing the whole husk, which you certainly can, normally I like to do a dehydrated lime, which we're out of at the moment. So we're just gonna do a little lime wheel and a little mint sprig. And there we have Shannon Mustifer's Mai Tai. I love that combination of the demerara rum with the Paranubes. It's a little bit stronger, which a lot of folks love in their Mai Tai. I think that it's still well balanced. It really lets the rum shine, and it's a really great killer Mai Tai. This cocktail really shows that whiskey does have a place in tiki cocktails. Let's make the Rye Tai. Let's grab our shaker, and we're gonna do 2 ounces of rye whiskey. I love Rittenhouse rye. I was saying to someone recently, well, I guess not that recently, that if I didn't have a terrifying fear of needles, I would probably get a Rittenhouse rye tattoo. It's so good. And for the price, it's such a great rye. And then we're gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice, not lime juice for this one, because lemon and whiskey seem to go really well together. We're gonna do a 1/2 ounce of our orgeat. And for this one, we're actually gonna use some pineapple juice, but this isn't a classic Mai Tai. And so we're gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of pineapple juice, fresh, not canned. Don't use canned pineapple juice, it's disgusting. And again, just a couple of cubes. Shake it up. Pour this one right out into a highball. And we're gonna fill this up with some pebbled ice. Are you noticing a pattern? And then we're gonna make this really pretty, and to change it up a little bit, we're gonna do some Angostura bitters over the top, about 5 to 6 dashes, or at least until you get a nice layer on the top. And then we're gonna do 2 pineapple fronds. Normally, I do like to kind of cut the edges, make them look pretty, but we had a very busy weekend, and so the ones that we prepped are gone, so we'll have to make some more. Do a straw there, and there you have the Mai Tai. I love that, and not just because the Rittenhouse rye is my favorite. I think the pineapple and the lemon juice really combine beautifully. The orgeat gives it that nice sweetness along with the pineapple, but the rye really is the center stage, and it shows that you can take the Mai Tai template and really build upon it in really fun and interesting ways. An incredibly funky Mai Tai riff, the Kentucky Mai Tai. First thing that we're gonna do is an ounce of bourbon. And this one originally called for Evan Williams Black Label, but I actually don't like the Black Label, but the bottled in bond is $17. And for like a cheap option that's bottled in bond, $17, that's pretty good. So we're gonna do an ounce of this. This one gets really funky and I love it. An ounce of mezcal. A 1/2 ounce of orgeat. A 1/2 ounce of lemon juice. We're gonna do a 1/2 ounce of a peach liqueur. Normally, I think I have some better peach liqueur, but we ran out, so I got some Mathilde, or however the French say it, I don't know. A 1/2 ounce of peach liqueur. Peach and bourbon go super well together, so I'm excited to taste one. I've never tried this one. So we're gonna do a 1/2 ounce of Cynar, which is a artichoke amaro, which is really gonna give this a nice, slightly bitter flavor, which is gonna combine beautifully with the other flavors, I believe. Again, couple cubes, and shake. All right, let's grab a low ball, pour this out. Fill that up with some pebbled ice. And then we're gonna do 1 mint sprig. It calls for a pineapple wedge, which is interesting because there's no pineapple in the cocktail, but I have a dehydrated one, so we're gonna use that. And there you have the Kentucky Mai Tai. That is funky, awesome, and weird. It's the kind of cocktail that I love. It kind of evolves as you drink it. You get that prominent bourbon flavor, the mezcal, the Cynar, the peach comes through. It's a really awesome mixture of flavors. That's such a good Mai Tai riff, man. That's so good. Let's make a different kind of Mai Tai, the bitter Mai Tai. We're gonna do 1.5 ounces of Campari. I know it's not everyone's favorite, but you can definitely substitute it for something else. Do 3/4 of an ounce of probably my favorite Jamaican rum, Smith & Cross. It's an overproof Jamaican rum. We're then gonna do 1 ounce of lime juice. 3/4 of an ounce of orgeat, and a 1/2 ounce of dry curacao. Couple of cubes, you know the rest. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Look at that color though, that's crazy. And I'm just gonna garnish with a little bit of mint and the bitter Mai Tai. I love that. The Campari is very bitter, but the orgeat helps smoothen it out. The lime brightens it up. The dry curacao gives it that nice orangey flavor. Smith & Cross just kind of comes in and go bam, and it helps elevate the cocktail. So good. Let's make one of my absolute favorite cocktails of all time, the Tia Mia. All right, I got a confession to make. This next one is the reason I wanted to make this video. This is the Tia Mia by Ivy Mix, who owns a bar called Leyenda in Brooklyn. And it comes from her book, Spirits of Latin America. So for this one, we are going to do an ounce of Del Maguey's Chichicapa, which is one of their single village releases. We're gonna do an ounce of that Appleton Estate Reserve. This might be the first time I've ever made this cocktail with the actual, like 100% with the actual ingredients. Because usually I'll make it with the Chichicapa and the Appleton Estate, like regular one that's much cheaper. It's like 12 bucks a bottle. But this is the right one that it calls for. I believe, I'm pretty sure it's the one, it says reserve. So a 1/2 ounce of Pierre Ferrand's dry curacao, 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lime juice, and a 1/2 ounce of orgeat. Couple of cubes. Shaky, shaky. Low ball. Some pebbled ice. And then we're gonna garnish with a lime wheel, a mint sprig, and an edible orchid. And there you have the Tia Mia. I'm speechless. That is as good as every time I've ever had it, except for the time I've had it at Leyenda, which was way better. It really is a modern classic in my opinion. It's beautiful. The combination of that incredible mezcal with that rum. Just go make yourself one. I am obsessed. A dope mezcal, Mai Tai, the Satin in a Coffin. Let's do 1.5 ounces of Del Maguey's Vida, which is a nice Espadín mezcal, not too expensive. I kind of want to save that Chichicapa because it's getting pricey. Do 1.5 ounces of lime juice. 3/4 ounce of orgeat. 1/2 ounce of dry curacao. And 1/4 ounce of vanilla syrup. I made this vanilla syrup a little bit ago. I love fresh vanilla bean vanilla syrup rather than with vanilla extract. It tastes so good. Last but not least, we can do 3 dashes of grapefruit bitters. I have these hopped grapefruit bitters from Bittermans. 1, 2, couple of cubes. Pour that out. Pebble ice. And we're gonna garnish with some mint. And a skewered Luxardo cherry. And there you have the Satin in a Coffin. Whoa, I love that. That vanilla, you would think that just 1/4 ounce wouldn't be enough, but it kind of comes through right at the end. The mezcal, beautiful. Whoa, this is nice, man. I love this. This is really good. Cheers to that. What would happen if a Mai Tai and a Spritz had a baby? Let's make the Mai Tai Spritz. So we're gonna do 1 ounce of our Appleton Estate Reserve, a 1/2 ounce of orgeat, 1/2 ounce of lime juice, 1/2 ounce of dry curacao. This one we're actually gonna do a couple of cubes in there, a good amount, and shake it up. Grab our highball. Gonna fill this one up with ice all the way to the top. Strain in here. It calls for champagne, but I'm gonna use some Brut. I really like Spanish Cava. It's what I also have it on hand at the restaurant, so we're just gonna fill that up there, all the way to the top. Do a little lime wheel. And of course, how could you forget a little spanky mint? And there you have the Mai Tai Spritz. That's awesome. That's good. Nice and effervescent, kind of like really brightens all of those flavors. A part of me wishes there was a little bit of like a bitter element just thrown in there to kind of help with the flavor of that Brut of the champagne. But overall, really nice. It shows what you can do when you mix 2 classic ideas together. Let's make a Mai Tai from one of my favorite bars on the planet. Let's make the Mai Shirona. This cocktail comes from one of my absolute favorite bars in all of San Diego, False Idol, and it's really nice. It's so good. So let's do 2 ounces of an overproof Jamaican rum. We're gonna use our trusty Smith & Cross, which I love. A 1/2 ounce of banana liqueur. 3/4 ounce of lime juice. And a 1/2 ounce of orgeat. The original calls for a macadamia nut orgeat. I don't have any, so I just have my regular orgeat. Should work relatively the same though. Shake it up. Pour that out, pebble ice, some mint, and a little lime wheel. One of the things you should understand is that most Mai Tais are garnished the same. If you take anything from this video, let it be that. And there we have the Mai Shirona. The banana plays so beautifully with those funky Jamaican rum elements. A lot of people say when they taste Jamaican rum, they can kind of get that, some like that banana flavor. So those 2 flavors really come together beautifully. That's a simple twist, but super effective. That's bomb. The breakfast Mai Tai, because who doesn't want a Mai Tai for breakfast? So this cocktail is actually very similar to the Mai Shirona with just a couple of additions added to it. So 1.5 ounces of our trusty Smith & Cross overproof Jamaican rum. We're not quite done with our banana liqueur. We're gonna do a 1/2 ounce of banana liqueur, a 1/2 ounce of our orgeat, 1 whole ounce of lime juice. We're gonna do a 1/4 ounce of cinnamon syrup. Hell yeah. Couple of cubes. And then let's just shake it up. And then pour that into a footed tulip glass, pebbled ice. And then we're gonna garnish it with our mint sprig. We're gonna do an edible orchid. And then a little bit of fun, we're gonna do a cinnamon stick, but we're gonna smoke this. A little bit of fire there. And there we have the breakfast Mai Tai. All right, we're gonna give it a second. You know, you could smoke this. It kind of looks like a, I'm not gonna say it, but I'm just gonna put that right back there. All right. So truly incredible. Similar to the Mai Shirona, I think that the addition of the cinnamon syrup actually really rounded this all out, and it really made this pop a little bit. I really love this, and I mean, come on. These are such great flavors, such an incredible cocktail. Cheers. And so there you have 10 incredible Mai Tais and Mai Tai variations. I hope you're able to get something fun out of this video. I enjoyed making all of these. And I think there's some really great variations on that classic Mai Tai. And if you want to see me make 15 different margaritas, you can check that video out right here.